Hello, I'm Ollie and this is CriminOlly, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. Today I gave up my iPhone for a black and white e-paper phone and I have zero regrets. A couple of weeks ago, I got this phone from a company called BigMe. So BigMe make e-paper devices, so e-readers, e-ink tablets and things like that. And they sent me their new smartphone, the BigMe Highbreak Pro, for review. So this is an Android phone, runs Android 14. You can install apps on it and things like that. But it's got a black and white e-paper screen, like the screen you would find on a Kindle Paperwhite or something like that. They sent it to me for review. So I took the SIM card out of my iPhone. So I had an iPhone 14 Pro Max. Took the SIM card out and put it into this, and so I thought I'll use this for a few days, see how I get on with it, make the review video, and then I thought maybe I'll try and use it for a week as my sole phone and just see how I get on. I'll see if I can last a week without going back to my iPhone. It's been over 2 weeks now and I'm pretty sure I'm not going back to the iPhone. I have found this really transformational. It's really made me think about my relationship with my smartphone, and it's changed my relationship with my smartphone for the better. I love using this device. I find it much less enticing than the iPhone, and it really has made me think about I don't want to use the word damage, that sounds too dramatic, but the impact that smartphones have on our lives and the impact they've had on my life. So in this video, I wanted to talk about about why I have found this experience to be positive. Now, going into this, I'll admit I had some ideas already about what the advantages of having a black and white phone would be. And that is that the colour screens on our smartphones nowadays are really enticing. Our smartphones are packed with apps that demand our attention, that want to consume our attention and commoditize our attention. So apps like TikTok and Instagram suck you in and just get you scrolling in order to generate ad revenue, in order to show you ads so that those companies can make money. And that is something I was really aware of. I'd deliberately given up Instagram a while ago, partly because of that, because I didn't like the way it kind of sucked me in. And I think TikTok does it even better than Instagram does. TikTok really does have an addictive quality to it. So I was thinking already that using a black and white phone would, make me less likely to fall into that kind of trap. And it definitely has. So I found myself picking up my phone far less often than I used to with my iPhone. I'm someone who I would sometimes just find my phone in my hand without even really realising that I'd picked it up, and I'd be going into apps and just scrolling through stuff just for something to do when I could have been doing something much more productive, like reading a book. I think these devices have become really central to our lives, and they are hugely powerful and useful. I'm someone who grew up, before smartphones. I didn't have my first phone until I was in my late 20s, and that was, a Samsung dumb phone. The iPhone only came out after I was well into my 30s. I think I was about 35 when the iPhone came out. So I've seen, the transformation that it's made to society, and there are wonderful elements to that. But I also think that particularly with some of the apps and, big tech nowadays, and the fact that a lot of those companies are basically just advertising companies, these phones have become something that use us as much as we use them. So I was keen to try a different kind of phone, like the BigMe, to see if that made me break away from my addiction to social media and browsing random news sites and things like that. And it definitely has. But the experience of not using this phone anymore has also made me realise another bad habit I had with my smartphone. And this is, I think, something that smartphones have done basically since day one, since before the iPhone. Smartphones have given this promise of making you more productive. And a terrible habit I had with my iPhone was going into it and checking my emails, checking my YouTube comments and things like that, and feeling to myself like I was being productive, but not actually doing anything. So I would just read the comments, but I wouldn't often reply to them. I would read my emails, but then not reply to them. I find personally it much easier to do that kind of work a laptop. I find my brain works better. I'm less distracted by other things. I can focus on it more. So if I sit down at my laptop to reply to comments, to reply to emails, I actually do it. If I try and do it on my phone, half the time I don't do it. So whilst I feel like I'm being productive, I'm actually just completely wasting time because I'm half doing a task that I'm going to need to go back to later. And that for me was a really big revelation. I expected that the kind of attractions of social media would be lessened on the Big Me, but I've also found that because I'm just generally picking it up less, I'm also doing less of the kind of stuff that wastes your time in other ways, that the stuff where you feel like you're making good use of your time, but actually you're making terrible use of your time. So this really has been a revelation for me. I've really, really enjoyed using it. And the thing is, the key thing with this is that it's there when you need it. So, I've got Google Maps on here so I can navigate if I need to. I've got Spotify on here so I can listen to music when I want to. I've got the BBC News app, so if I really need to check the news, I can do. But what I'm not doing is getting sucked into my phone in the same way as I do with the iPhone. So I really have found this very, very beneficial. If you want to find out more about the phone, I'll leave a link in the description to this video to my review video so you can find out more information about the phone and see what it can do. But basically, it does everything you want a smartphone to do, and it doesn't do the things you don't want a smartphone to do. It doesn't suck you in, it doesn't command your attention, it doesn't take over your brain. It's just there when you need it. Anyway, hope you found that interesting, and as always, thanks very much for watching. Hope you're safe and well out there, hope you're reading good stuff, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Cheerio.